Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the chat show with Subin. And viewers, we are going to be actually talking about credit cards, the world of credit cards, and how we can actually, make the most of credit cards. With us is Subhash. Welcome to the show, Subhash.
Welcome, Bino.
Thank you, Subhash. So, what we'll be talking about is credit cards. So, as we can understand, credit cards are being used big time in these days of COVID. A lot of people actually staying at home, doing online purchases, and so on. So the usage of credit cards is that much more these days. Now, for a lot of people, those who would want to know about credit cards, those who do not have a credit card yet and would like to know the details, we have more details coming up shortly in this program. So we'll be talking about all the pros and cons of a credit card. Now, to begin with, credit cards are to be differentiated with the other cards. These are all plastics, like debit card or ATM card, and of course, credit card. So these are all called as plastic money. Now, for all the advantages of credit cards, we will be having Subhash talking in details of the same. So over to you, Subhash.
Hi, Bino. So, what I'll be talking about, Bino, is you correctly pointed out in this time of COVID, there's a lot of use of credit cards. Now, when somebody uses a credit cards, there are a lot of advantages of it. There are a lot of disadvantages of it. I'll be mostly be talking about the advantages of a credit card, and you will be talking about the disadvantages of using a credit card and all. So let's start off with the advantages first. See, the most and the important advantage of a credit card is the concept of buy now and pay later concept. Uh, with the help of a credit card, you can purchase an item, and what happens in a credit card is the bank offers you a loan, and with that loan you purchase an item. Now the bank offers you a credit time of 50 days. You can pay back the loan to the bank without paying any interest. Now that's a very big advantage for a consumer. If anybody offers you money without paying, without you having to give any bit of interest to that person, and then you can repay it back within that time period, that's a very big advantage for any consumer. This is what a credit card company does. Credit card company gives you the money, you purchase the item within the time. There's a time limit for all credit card companies. Roughly it's around 45 to 50 days or something. So within that 50 days you have to pay back that money, whatever they have given it to you, whatever you use actually for purchasing an item or you use for any services, and you pay it within that time. You don't have to pay any interest. So that is the most and the biggest advantage of a credit card. Number one advantage is that. Number two advantage is, uh, see, most of us purchase high value items. Now, whenever we go to purchase an high value item, we go to any shops and all, they don't have the facility of EMI facilities and all. But with the help of a credit card, what we can do is we can make the payment of those high value items with the credit card, and then whatever the purchase price that we get, we can actually pay back to the credit card company in equal monthly installments. Now that is also an advantage for a person. You don't have to pay that total money in one shot. You can divide that money equally into whatever installments you would like to pay it and give it back. It's a friendly thing for a consumer. Third advantage, we know what I feel is with a credit card is that whenever you use a credit card, you uh, get a lot of reward points. Now, reward points, you use your credit card in a restaurant, you use it in a fuel pump, you use to buy groceries and all, you get a lot of reward points. Now, with this accumulation of reward points, uh, the credit card companies gives you rewards. That is the basic idea of the reward points. What you do is you encash those reward points into, you may get gift vouchers, you may purchase online stuff in the company's portal. You get a lot of free stuffs along for the purchase, for the money that you have used of the company. So along with that, there's reward points are there. Another advantage is you getting some of the purchase that you do, you get a cash back. Now some companies, they don't give you any discount, but the credit card company advertises, you purchase, you take our credit card, you make purchases through a credit card, you get cash back from whatever purchase you make. So in a fact, you get a discount of that item. The cash back comes back to your account. So that is another advantage that credit card is offering. Another very big advantage is that with the help of a credit card, right now what's happening is you can't go out, and most of the people won't take cash. Most of the establishments don't take cash. Uh, they accept only card, and if you go out of the country also, most of the people don't accept your debit card also. So then when you have a credit card, you can avail those services, you can buy those items with the help of a credit card. Now that is one of the advantages. Another advantage we know with a credit card is like if you use your credit card well, if you pay your credit card on time, it is actually boost your credit rating. Now, what with the help of your if your credit rating improves, like if you would like to have a loan from a bank for purchasing of a house or purchasing of an automobile, they look at your credit rating. Now, how good is the credit rating? On that depends on the loan approval of a bank. Now, if your credit rating is good, then and you would easily get the loan from the bank. So using a credit card well boost your credit rating as well. Another very good advantage of a credit card, Binu, is that credit card offers emergency cash features also. Some of the along with credit facility that they offer, you can also withdraw cash from an these companies, credit card companies offer you cash. Yes, you have to pay them interest from day one onwards, but then the cash, if an emergency is required, you can withdraw cash also. So that is the advantage of a credit card, Binu. And I think as there are advantages, there are disadvantages also. Would you just elaborate on the disadvantages part of a credit card, Binu?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So very well explained, Subhash. I mean, that really sounds very, very good for anyone wanting to actually, go ahead and start using credit cards for the first time ever. Uh, so it sounds like you can actually use a lot of the credit rewards and the credit points and so on and so forth. That is one point that I really liked. I would like to actually take as much of rewards as possible, and the credit points can be utilized. In fact, some of the rewards could be just going out with your friends to the movies, or even the airport lounges. You can have a lot of access to some of the exclusive areas, and you can relax a while before you take a long haul flight. So all of these kind of advantages are there with credit cards. Yet at a time when the economy is doing really well, it is really a good idea to be using credit cards. But what about a situation like now, when COVID is in place, lots of people are in dire straits in terms of financials and so on and so forth. Earnings are low. People can actually, find it difficult to actually pay back some of these kind of credit card dues. So let's take a look at some of the disadvantages at a time when we have these kind of issues cropping up with a lot of people. So, amongst one of the biggest disadvantages of owning a credit card is also the fact that if that person owning a credit card is at a disadvantage financially, then in that case, that itself is one of the biggest disadvantages of having a credit card. So if he has to use a credit card, he can actually get into a huge debt. Okay, now let's take a look at what kind of a debt. How does a debt actually come about? A credit card company, as Subhash just explained just now, can give you a credit period of something like about 45 days, 40 days, or 50 days, depends upon which bank is issuing you the credit card. Now, in case if you are able to pay back within that allotted credit period, and if you are able to pay back the entire amount, then you do not run the risk of actually having a balance of credit, which will actually, start increasing your outstandings in terms of the interest payments and the finance charges and the late payments and all of these kind of issues that actually come up with paying your card dues beyond of the initial period of credit period. So that is one of the biggest disadvantages of not being able to actually stick to the credit limit or the credit period allotted to you. So what one person really has to be very careful about spending on a credit card is that the fact that a credit card company or the bank is not going to be actually issuing a loan. It has already credited a certain amount in your card. What you are going to be doing is just unlocking that value while making a payment to a particular establishment. And when you do that, your time starts since that day onwards. That is day one of your credit period. And what you need to be doing is you should be taking account of your finances to be able to pay back that much amount of uh, expenses that you've incurred on that card even before the last day of that credit period actually ends. So that is one thing. Second is, in case if you are unable to actually do so, the interest goes up. So which means you are actually going to be, piling upon your dues towards the bank or the credit card company. So that is one big disadvantage for people, those who are unable to actually, be in a position to handle that situation. That is one. Second is there are people, those who will actually use a credit card to take a loan, as in they can actually take out a cash from the ATMs. So when you use your credit card to take out cash from the ATM, that incurs a huge amount of cost, and the interests are humongous. So that is one very dangerous thing to do. Do not do that. That is only during absolute dire straits. If there is a medical emergency or something like that, and you need to have cash in hand, only then do that kind of a situation. Otherwise, it is not recommended to be done. Okay, that will put you into more disadvantageous position. So yeah, so these are the two things. Thirdly, you find that many of these credit card companies and banks, they actually charge a huge fee upon renewal every year. Some companies or banks do not charge anything upfront; they give it for free. Some they do, and some of the premium banks like an HSBC or a StanChart or some of those kind of things, MX and all, for example, they would be charging something upfront, even in the first year itself. But the second year onwards, it is even more. So that is something that you need to keep a tab on, or else that also adds up to your outstanding amount. Now, apart from that, uh, another disadvantage with credit cards is that you tend to actually, pick up not just one credit card, you tend to take up two or three or four. Some people actually flaunt a lot of credit cards in their wallets. And every such card has got an annual fee, has got a balance also if you have been using it. Because unless you use it, you will not be able to actually be able to claim the reward points. So there are certain offers that come from time to time, and you are actually, asked to go ahead and you know uh, go for a transaction. When you do that transaction, what happens is you're automatically running up a balance, a due amount on that card. Likewise for each of the cards. So you need to be very careful in terms of the kind of transactions you're doing on each of the cards. Keep a tab over it, of it, or else in due course you will run up a huge debt, and the interest levels annually nothing less than 30%, is usually 36% and beyond annually, and every month it keeps piling up. So that is these are some of the dangerous aspects of credit cards. So now we've talked about all the advantages and disadvantages. Now, in order to actually have a balanced view of the whole thing, like exactly for two kinds of people, one for an absolute newbie who is about to go for a credit card, the message would be that take a look at your income levels, which are going to be in the future, coming up at least in the next 6 months. How are you going to be secured in terms of your income? That is one. Second of all, what are your bank balances as on date that you should be able to, cover up for any dues that can actually come up. These are two things that you need to keep in mind, very sacrosanct, before you actually go ahead and apply for a credit card. And of course, you will find that the CIBIL score is something which is very, very important for you to know that the central authorities, they have this across three different bureaus who actually look at your credit ratings and your credit worthiness, as they call it, to find out whether you are eligible to be given a credit card or not. So if you are eligible, then keep in mind these two very important points. A, you have to know your bank balance, whether you have excess cash in hand, disposable income that you can actually offset against the balance which you run up on your credit card or cards. Second of all, whether your upcoming incomes are going to be intact, whether you're absolutely sure that you are going to be having a regular income so that there is no issues with paying up your outstandings. These are two things for a newbie who is about to get into uh, having a credit card. Second kind of a person would be those who already have a credit card. Now, this kind of a person, he may right now, as on date, may not be having a outstanding balance on his card because he has been very uh, disciplined in his activities when it comes to making his payments back to the credit card and so on and so forth. So for those kind of people, yes, I mean they can continue using it because they have a history of using it properly. So that is one. Second, third type of person would be that who actually has gone into a very tough situation with a lot of payments to be made, and he's completely mismanaged the whole thing because of various reasons. It could be because of economic issues, he's lost a job, or he's not having a running business which is doing well because of various reasons. So these could be reasons that that third person has gone into a tough spot with his balances on his credit card and unable to pay, and his dues are mounting month on month. So that's a very dangerous situation, leading up to a fact that the civil score can be adversely affected, and he may not actually be able to, apply for any other loan, for example, to offset his dues and kind of stuff. So he can just get into a vicious cycle of, debt trap. So these are the kind of things that we have to keep in mind when it comes to usage of a credit card. And Subhash, would you like to conclude with something on this so that we wrap it up?
You have been very well explained about the disadvantages of a credit card. As there are advantages, a lot of disadvantages also. Uh, See, there are. I would like to conclude by saying this: if a person just maintains two golden rules of a credit card, one is that don't spend more than you can pay. That is the number one golden rule. And second golden rule is never miss a card payment. Now, if a person can stick to these two golden rules, I would believe a credit card is very helpful. Um, you should have a financial discipline also. And if you can do that, credit card is for me a thumbs up. But then, as you said, a lot of disadvantages of that also. Yes, Bino, you can conclude our chat session.
Yes, it was yet another very interesting topic that we took up, which could be useful to the common man. And in case if you like this content, do like it on the YouTube channel, and also subscribe and share it with people who may find this of use. And take care. God bless. Bye bye.